Hi everybody, it's Tatiana and it is like not quite 1 a.m. Sunday morning when I'm recording this video. So I don't know how well this review is going to go, but that's really okay because there are tons of reviews all over YouTube about this book. I just wanted to share my thoughts and what I felt about it. So, the book that I'm talking about is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the second book that I have read by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The first being The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I read last year, which everyone raved about and was just okay for me. Like, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it like everyone else loved it. But I enjoyed it enough that I knew I wanted to read, and I'm pretty sure the light that I have on in this room is bouncing off of this library cover, so I'm going to sit this down because it's going to throw off my focus. I was sure that I wanted to read something else by her, and I had actually planned to go back into her backlist, but then Daisy Jones and the Six came out, so I was like, okay, well, I'll read that. And then I'll go to her backlist after reading that. We'll see what I feel about that. And I have to say, I enjoyed Daisy Jones and the Six more than I enjoyed The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't know. No, I do know. I am pretty sure that it has to do with the fact that it's set up like a Behind the Music. Was it VH1 who used to do Behind the Music? I loved that show, and that's pretty much how this book is set up. It's set up with a bunch of interviews from members of the band The Six, as well as Daisy Jones and some of the behind the scenes people in their promotion or production, management, relationship affiliations that they had during the time when the Six and Daisy Jones were a thing. Another thing that I really loved about this novel is how these characters sound so real. Like, I had to keep reminding myself that this was a fiction story, number one, because of the behind the music feel, and then number two, because some of the things that were being discussed and some of the things that happened with the dynamics in the band are things that you hear about happening within the bands that were profiled on Behind the Music, whether they stayed together or they broke up, the different personalities that come into play, the conflicts that occur with all of these personalities, even if they all get together, got along outside of the structure of working and building these albums as a band. There's conflict that takes place when you have all of these people who are trying to give input into things. And so much of that read like what I was obsessed with when I was younger, and getting those behind the scenes looks at things, reading articles in music magazines like Rolling Stone, or in any magazine, basically, Right On, Word Up, all of those magazines that had interviews with people who were in the music industry and actively putting out music and interacting with the media ministry. I was all over those things when I was a kid. And so this novel really played into that, and I think that's really why it worked so much more for me than The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And yeah, I think that this is going to stay with me for a long time. I love this novel. It had a lot of the feminist, not even undertones, just blatant feminism and female strength, and sisterhood in some instances in this novel that were in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but like kicked up a notch. Number one, because there were more female characters who were integral to the story, and each character had their own take on what their responsibility was being a female, being a woman in what has been and is, in a lot of cases for them, a male-dominated industry. And I just really enjoyed all of that, I kind of somewhat spoilery. So if you don't want to hear this, then skip ahead. I'll like put my hands up when I'm no longer talking about the spoilery little thing if you think it's a spoiler. But there is a twist in this novel. I'm not saying what the twist is. I don't think that the twist really added anything to the story. I don't think, or at the point when the twist was done, I don't think they added anything to the story. It could have been done at a different part in the story, with a different interaction between two people. And I just think that the point where it was where Reed chose to put the twist in, it really didn't have an impact on the novel, or how you felt about the characters in the novel, or how you felt about what was being discussed at the point when that was revealed. I think it could have been more potent had it happened later on in the story, where there was a perfect opportunity for it to be new information. And I don't know, that didn't make the impact on me that I think the author wanted it to have. But spoiler section is over. That aside, I thoroughly enjoyed this novel. I am a little disappointed that I didn't buy it, and I didn't buy it because there was so much hype around The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and that was just an okay story for me, that I really expected this to be a story that I enjoyed reading, but I wasn't going to fall in love with, and I was wrong. Yeah, that's all that I have to share about this. Again, there are reviews out the wazoo for this novel if you are interested in finding some that have to do more with the plot in the story. But I kind of sort of think I shared that with, because this is much more of a character-based story than an actual plot-based story, and all of the different personalities and the different perspectives coming together. And even as you're reading the story, or you're like when you're listening to it, when you're watching television, you don't know what the actual truth is of what took place, but you know what the end result of that situation was, or that occurrence was. And yeah, this was so good. That's all that I have to say. I just wanted to come basically make this video and tell you all that I love this book, and I loved it after just feeling okay about The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So that's all that I have for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope my food stain that's on my shirt is not visible in this video, because I did not change my shirt that I wore to dinner tonight. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. I need to go to bed. Peace out.